Thank you. Good evening. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 5 p.m. And before we get the meeting started, I'd like to acknowledge that the land on which we gather is Treaty 2 land, traditional territory of Anishinaabe, Cree, Ojibwe Cree, Assiniboine, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and homeland of the Métis Nation. We affirm our commitment to moving forward in partnership with Indigenous communities in a spirit of collaboration and reconciliation. Moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Councillor Daly. Be it resolved that the regular council meeting agenda be amended as follows. We have two additions to the agenda. Item 8A, which is a contract for the Main Street South project, and 11A, the Dauphin Friendship Center Agency Luncheon. Any deletions to add? If not, call for the question, and all those in favor, please indicate. Anyone opposed? Seeing none, carried. Moved by Councillor Daly, seconded by Deputy Mayor Lachlan. Be it resolved that council accepts the regular council meeting as amended. I'll assume that everybody's in favor of that. And then moved by Deputy Mayor Lachlan, Councillor Ray, seconded. Be it resolved that council waives the reading and accepts and approves as circulated the minutes of the following meetings. And those are the regular council meeting of October the 16th of this year and our special council meeting that was held on October 26th of this year. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Daly. Be it resolved that all items listed in red under item 5, the consent agenda, be approved and form part of these minutes. All those in favor, please indicate. Anyone opposed? Seeing none. Carried. So there was a couple of things through the consent agenda. We had two outstanding water accounts that were added to taxes. Roll number 0113100 for final utility bill payment of $59.75, and roll number 0200800. Same thing, the previous tenant did not pay their final utility bill for a total of $158.30 for a grand total of $218.05. And that's recommended by the Director of Finance and our utility clerk. We have outstanding receivables added to taxes. Roll number 0043000. Water meter costs, which the amount of $946.70 for a total of $946.70, and that was also recommended by the Director of Finance and our tax clerk. We have several proclamations, or a couple of proclamations. The first one is for Radar Awareness Month. I believe Councillor Ray.
Thank you, Mayor. Whereas radon is a radioactive gas that comes from the soil and enters homes and buildings as a carcinogen that causes more than 3,000 deaths per year in Canada. And whereas radon is the leading cause of lung cancer in non-smokers and greatly increases a smoker's risk of getting lung cancer. And whereas the City of Dauphin has partnered with Take Action on Radon to launch a 100 radon test kit challenge, which includes a radon information session on November 8th at 7 p.m. on Zoom and at City Hall, and provides 100 free radon detectors to residents who register for the program. And whereas it is time to take action on radon and test and mitigate radon in our homes to protect ourselves and our families, now, therefore, we, the Council of the City of Dauphin, do hereby proclaim November 2023 as Radon Awareness Month. Dated City of Dauphin, Province of Manitoba, this the 30th day of October 2023.
Thank you, Councillor Ray. We also have a proclamation for Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and I'll call on Councillor Bellemare.
Thank you. And there are some numbers in here that are pretty shocking. Okay, whereas domestic violence is prevalent across all ethnic, racial, age, social, and economic groups and occurs regardless of marital status or sexual orientation. And whereas the Parkland Crisis Center and Women's Shelter opened its door in Dauphin on October 31st, 1992 to provide alternatives to violent living for women and their children fleeing domestic abuse and or family violence. And whereas through the provision of emergency shelter, counseling, education, and advocacy, the Parkland Crisis Center and Women's Shelter strives to empower abuse survivors to make positive life changes. And whereas the Parkland Crisis Center and Women's Shelter provided safe emergency residential shelter services to over 1,800 women and their children experiencing domestic or family violence, and receives approximately 1,250 crisis line calls. And whereas the City of Dauphin commends the Parkland Crisis Center and Women's Shelter and other public and private entities that strive to end the cycle of violence in homes and communities across the province. Now, therefore, we, the Council of the City of Dauphin, do hereby proclaim November 2023 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month, dated at the City of Dauphin in the province of Manitoba this 30th day of November 2023.
Thank you very much, Councillor Bellemare. Moving on in the agenda, there are a couple of filing items. There were several Manitoba government news releases from Premier's office. Premier Wab Kinew and the new government were sworn in, so there's an announcement related to that. And then there was also further release indicating that cabinet committees, and it's, I think, to our benefit to have MLA Ron Kostyshin as as the new Minister of Agriculture and also one of the key executives on the new provincial cabinet. Those are all the items listed from the consent agenda. Next motion, moved by Councillor Sobering, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the corporate report for the October 30th meeting from our Deputy City Manager, and that's for the month of October. And before we vote on this, I'll call on Lisa to give us a bit of an update on her report.
Thank you, Mayor Boziak. First, I'd like to welcome Darian Karuk, who started his position as the city's bylaw enforcement officer on October 23rd. He's jumped right into his role and is a pleasure to work with. Much of my week was taken up by orientating him to his responsibilities and getting him up to speed on our bylaws related to parking, property standards, zoning, noise, waste management, and off-road vehicles. So there's a new sheriff in town, and he is eager to work with the public to keep Dauphin in good shape. I'd also like to introduce our 100 Radon Test Kit Challenge. Radon is a radioactive gas that comes from the soil and enters homes and buildings as a carcinogen that causes more than 3,000 deaths per year in Canada. Radon is the leading cause of lung cancer in non-smokers and greatly increases a smoker's risk of getting lung cancer. I'm happy to be working with Take Action on Radon to roll out a 100 Radon Test Kit Challenge for Dauphin. Starting tomorrow, we'll be promoting the program through posters, social media, and on our website and electronic sign. And CKDM will be promoting the campaign on the radio from November 1st through the 7th. On November 8th at 7 p.m., we're offering a radon information session on Zoom for those who register for the program. And we will also be streaming it here at City Hall for those who would like to attend in person. Residents who sign up for the program will receive a free radon test kit with instructions. They place it in their home for 100 days and then return it to City Hall, and we send the radon devices away for testing. Take Action on Radon is covering all of our costs for the program. Each participant will receive a personal report indicating their results, and we receive a summary report indicating how many participated and what percentage of homes were above and below the guidelines. It's interesting to note that the alpha track detectors that we will be giving out, they contain a small piece of plastic that gets etched or marked by the energy that is released from the radon decay process. This mark on the plastic is from the same impact that can damage your lung tissue. However, on the plastic inside the detector, it leaves a mark that can be counted by the lab. So that's quite interesting to just know how the detectors work. So let's take action on radon. It is my hope that this campaign will raise awareness in our community so that all residents will be able to take the necessary steps to get radon tested and mitigated in their homes to protect themselves and their families. Thank you.
Any questions about anything else in Lisa's report from any member of council? Seeing none, then I'll call for the question. All those in favor of accepting that report, please indicate. Anyone opposed? Seeing none, carried. Thank you. The next item, moved by Councillor Sobering, seconded by Councillor Ray, be resolved that the financial accounts, having been examined by council, are hereby authorized and approved as follows. We had 27 checks for a total of $932,892.93. There were no voided checks in the current range or in the past range, and we had no electronic payments during the period. Questions or comments regarding the financial report? Seeing none, all those in favor? Anyone opposed? Carried. Moved by Councillor Daly, seconded by Deputy Mayor Loughlin. Be resolved that council accepts as information the unaudited financial statements for the period ending August 31st, which include the general fund balance sheet and income statement and the utility fund balance sheet and income statement. Any questions or comments regarding either of these two statements or reports for August? Call for the question. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, carried. Thank you. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Ray. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the reserve report for the period ending August 31st, 2023. Questions or comments regarding this report? All in favor? Anyone opposed? Carried. Thank you. Moved by Councillor Sobering, seconded by Deputy Mayor Loughlin. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the budget variance analysis for August 2023. Questions or comments regarding the variance? All those in favor of this report? Anyone opposed? Carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be resolved that council accepts as information the engineering report for the October 30th council meeting. That's from the Director of Public Works and Operations. That's for the month of October. Mike, did you want to speak to anything that's in your report before? Any questions? Councillor Bellemare?
Just a comment, I think this is exciting because we're about to start this major construction project, so maybe we need to have like a special ceremony or something just to honor that it's finally happening. So thank you, Mike, for all the work that you've done to make this happen.
Thank you, Councillor Bellemare. Any other councillors have questions or comments?
Just one question about the courthouse. I see we're done our work at that project. Any idea when that project is wrapping up? I know it's not within your purview, but any insight?
Our last discussions with the on-site prime contractor Boxstall was, I believe they were aiming for the end of November to have phase 1 complete. And then phase 2 would be redoing the existing courthouse building as well. All the interior work, I believe, there. So.
Any other questions or comments? Call the question then. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you, Mike. Moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Councillor Sobering. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the minutes from the following committees. We had regular board meeting minutes from the Riverside Cemetery. They're September 15th and September 22nd meetings. From the Intermountain Watershed District, their regular board meeting from September the 21st. And Dauphin Neighborhood Renewal Corporation minutes, their board meeting minutes dated October 4th, 2023. Any councillors need to speak or would like to speak to any of these minutes that were listed and reported on? Seeing none, call for the question then. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, motion is carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Deputy Mayor Loughlin. Whereas Manitoba Transportation and Infrastructure and the City of Dauphin partnered on a bituminous reconstruction and drainage project on Main Street South, Provincial Trunk Highway PTH 5A, whereby the city's portion of the project, which is the drainage system, was tendered and will be administered through contract 7354A. And whereas through a fair bidding process administered by the province, Russell Ready Mix Concrete was a successful bidder. Be it resolved that council accepts as information a copy of contract number 7354A between the City of Dauphin and Russell Ready Mix Concrete for the construction of a land drainage and retention system in the south end of Dauphin in conjunction with MTI's bituminous reconstruction project in the same area for a cost of $7,068,910.73. Further, be it resolved that council authorizes contract number 7354A to be signed and sealed by the mayor and the city manager on behalf of the City of Dauphin. Questions or comments regarding this contract? All those in favor, please indicate. Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. Moved by Councillor Sobering, seconded by Councillor Stakilo. Whereas corporate recognition of employees in Council Policy 2.1 establishes guidelines for recognizing city employees, firefighters, and council members for their dedicated service, retirement, and other important life events. Be it resolved that council accepts as information corporate recognition of employees in Council Policy 2.1.1 and a memorandum from the Deputy City Manager noting that the policy has been revised to expand the definition of immediate family, to change the retirement gift from a coin set to a gift of approximate $75 value, and to limit the invitation of retirees to the annual staff appreciation party to those who have retired within the previous 5 years, and recommending that the revised policy be approved. Further, be it resolved that council agrees with the Deputy City Manager's recommendations and approves corporate recognition and employee policy 2.1.1. Questions or comments regarding this resolution? All in favor? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, motion is carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Laughlin, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Whereas the City of Dauphin owns CNR Place at 101 First Avenue Northwest and leases office space to tenants, and that 529 square feet space in Unit B1 was vacated effective September 1st of this year, be it resolved that council accepts as information a lease agreement with the Dauphin Constituency Office for the period November 1, 2023 to October 31, 2027, outlining the terms for NDP MLA Ron Concession to occupy Unit B1 for a monthly rental cost of $969.83 plus taxes, which reflect a rate of $22 per square foot, and a memorandum dated October 18th from the Deputy City Manager recommending that the lease agreement be approved. Further, be it resolved that council agrees with the Deputy City Manager's recommendation and authorizes the lease agreement with the Dauphin Constituency Office for Unit B1 at CNR Place to be signed and sealed by the Mayor and the City Manager on behalf of the City of Dauphin. Questions or comments regarding this? Councillor Bellemare?
Just a question, is all the space in CNR Place rented out currently? Yeah, okay, thank you.
Other questions or comments? Call for the vote on the motion. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, carried. Moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Deputy Mayor Laughlin. Whereas Buchanan Avenue in Dauphin is marked by signage indicating a 60-kilometer speed limit, whereas Provincial Trunk Highway PTH 5A to the west of that has a speed limit of 100 kilometers per hour. And whereas the installation of the City of Dauphin's mobile speed display device on Buchanan Avenue in September 2023 showed that over a 48-hour period, approximately 55% of vehicles passing the device were exceeding the 60-kilometer per hour posted speed, and 34% of these vehicles were traveling in excess of 66 kilometers per hour. Be it resolved that council accepts as information correspondence dated September 6th from Karen Bunka, a Buchanan Avenue resident, reporting ongoing concerns regarding vehicles reaching excessive speeds along Buchanan Avenue and requesting that the city consider the installation of a permanent speed display device to reduce the risk of speed-related accidents. Further be it resolved that council accepts as information a memo dated October 25th from the Director of Public Works and Operations recommending the purchase of a permanent speed display device to be installed on Buchanan Avenue in the 2024 budget year, and a request to be submitted to Manitoba Transportation and Infrastructure for a transitional speed zone to be added to PTH 5A between the 60-kilometer zone on Buchanan Avenue and the 100-kilometer zone on PTH 5A. Further be it resolved that council agrees with the recommendation from the Director of Public Works and Operations and will consider the purchase of a permanent speed display device to be installed on Buchanan Avenue in the 2024 budget year and authorizes the submission of a request to MTI for transitional speed zone on PTH 5A for vehicles entering and exiting along Buchanan Avenue. Questions or comments from council? Councillor Bell?
Okay, so a transitional speed zone would be like, instead of going from 100 to 60, it'd go from like 100 to 80 to 60? Okay, thank you.
Other questions or comments? Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, motion is carried. Moved by Councillor Daly, seconded by Councillor Ray, whereas volunteer firefighters account for 71% of Canada's total firefighting essential first responders, and additionally, approximately 8,000 search and rescue volunteers respond to thousands of incidents every year. And whereas Canada's Income Tax Act currently allows volunteer firefighters and search and rescue volunteers to claim a $3,000 tax credit if 200 hours of volunteer service are completed in a calendar year. And whereas via Bill C-310, Courtney Alberni MP Gord Johns is calling on the federal government to increase this tax credit for volunteer firefighters and search and rescue service providers from $3,000 to $10,000, which would not only recognize these volunteers for their time, training, and effort to serve Canadians in the time of need, but would also help to recruit and retain these volunteers in a time when emergency service membership is declining. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information a memo dated October 25th from the Fire Chief noting that 30% of Canadian firefighters pay out of pocket to cover expenses associated with the service they provide to their communities, and many do not draw a living wage from firefighting, and requesting endorsement of a petition to support Bill C-310. Further be resolved that Council appreciates the invaluable service provided by our firefighters and search and rescue volunteers and agrees with the Fire Chief's recommendation to support the endorsement and signing of Bill C-310 petition to request that the federal government increase the tax credit for these volunteers from $3,000 to $10,000. Any questions or comments regarding this motion? All in favor, please indicate. Anyone opposed? Seeing none, motion is carried. Thank you. Moved by Councillor Sobering, seconded by Councillor Daly. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information correspondence dated October 17th from Lori Bremner, the Finance Coordinator at Dauphin District Handy Van Association, requesting financial support from the City of Dauphin in the amount of $10,000 to assist with the licensing of fleet vehicles and rent. Further be resolved that Council forwards the funding request from the Dauphin District Handy Van Association to the City of Dauphin's 2024 budget deliberations for consideration. Any councillor need to speak or want to speak on this motion before? Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? None, carried. Moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Councillor Daly. Be resolved that bylaw 09/2023, being a bylaw of the City of Dauphin for the purpose of appointing Darian Karuk as special constable, be now read a second time. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Deputy Mayor Lachlan. Be resolved that bylaw 09/2023, being a bylaw of the City of Dauphin for the purpose of appointing Darian Karuk as special constable, be now read a third time and be signed and sealed by the Deputy Mayor and the City Manager. So this is a recorded vote. Councillor Sobering, yay. Deputy Mayor Lachlan, yay. Councillor Sticalo, yay. Bellemare, Ray, Daly. Bosiak says yay. Motion is carried. That's a unanimous. Just in case you weren't paying attention, that's for Sean Bailey. Moved by Councillor Sobering, seconded by Councillor Daly. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the following invitations. From Prairie Mountain Health, their annual general meeting is November the 1st. From the Dauphin Friendship Center, their agency luncheon is on November the 9th. The Royal Canadian Legion Remembrance Day is November the 11th, and that's specifically for the mayor to attend. All councillors are also duly invited. The Manitoba Municipal Administrators, the Climate Adaptation and Disaster Risk Management, which is being held on November the 14th. Vermilion Lodge number 68 has their 125th anniversary celebration on November the 18th. And Community Edge Economic Development Training is scheduled for December 6th and 7th. Further be resolved that any expenses related to council and senior administration attending the events be borne by the City of Dauphin. Questions, comments about any of these invitations? Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, motion is carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the community events that are listed. And there are two: the Radon Information Session, which is scheduled for November the 8th, and the 100 Radon Test Kit Challenge, which is November the 8th to the 17th. All those in favor? Opposed? None? Carried. Wow. You're just sailing along, Mr. Bailey. I moved by Councillor Stakilo and seconded by Councillor Sobering. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the councillor reports for our regular meeting of October 30th. We'll start on my right-hand side. Councillor Daly, are you ready to go with your report?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. 16th of October, attended the regular council meeting. 17 October, I sat in on the Community Safety and Wellbeing Zoom committee meeting. October 23rd, met with Prairie Mountain Health Lead Glenda Short and Mayor Boziak to discuss various topics on items dealing with community safety and wellbeing, as it was. On 23rd of October, also attended the P&P meeting here at City Hall, and on the 30th, this morning, I met with City Manager Charlotte Griffiths and Economic Development Manager Martijn Van Leeuwen to discuss transportation study that I'm currently working on. That's it for my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Daly. Councillor Ray.
Thank you, Mayor Boziak. October 16th, I attended the last regular council meeting. On the 17th, I attended the Community Safety Zoom meeting with CMNCP. October 18th, I attended the Community of Practice Community Safety and Wellbeing Committee meeting. October 23rd to the 25th, I was in attendance at the CMNCP conference in Regina on community safety. And on the 26th, I attended the special council meeting on Teams. And that concludes my report.
Before we move to Councillor Bellemare, was there anything about the conference in Regina that you just wanted to share for public record? Yeah, I know you submitted a report for the rest of council, but is there anything, highlights or otherwise from attending that event?
Yeah, it was a great conference. I found it very interesting. There was a large number of different plans and different stages that communities all across the country were at with their community safety and well-being plans. And in many cases, that wasn't the name of it, but it was basically dealing with the same situations that we're dealing with here in our community. I think it was interesting to me how the committees were made up, because it's not a cookie cutter approach. I think, the plan has to be developed around each community and needs to take on the flavor of that community. And so as we progress with this plan, I think it was beneficial to me to see the priorities that a lot of these communities were placing their action upon, and as well as just the makeup of the communities in general.
Thank you. Councillor Bellemare.
Thank you, Since the last council meeting, I attended CMNCP Teams meeting, and then we had one today that was canceled and hasn't been rescheduled yet. So, and for community events, the Parkland Chamber of Commerce offered a 9-day trip to Portugal that just finished, and about 30 people from Dauphin and the surrounding area took part in this wonderful opportunity. While the tour company, named Indus, supplied a personable, very highly competent tour guide, a big thank you goes out to the Chamber's Executive Director, Stephen Shakota, and his wife, Nicole, who were amazing in assisting the travelers in many ways, particularly with the technology available to make traveling easier, and in leading the foodies to new food adventures. Stephen is looking at offering another trip around this time next year and is inviting potential travelers to share your opinion. Should the next destination be Tuscany, Italy, or should it be Costa Rica? So details are available on the Parkland Chamber's Facebook page, or you can call and visit Stephen at his office here in City Hall, and you have a year to save up for the next adventure. So congrats to our MLA, Ron Kostitian, who's been sworn in as the new Minister of Agriculture. While Ron has filled that role previously, this is 7 years later with a brand new mandate and a brand new Premier. Another appointment of note is that of Jeremy Smith of Dauphin, who had just been appointed by the Premier to the Poverty Reduction Committee of Cabinet. Unfortunately, Jeremy was unable to fulfill this honor as he has recently passed away. I offer my condolences to his family, his friends, and his Shiraz dance mates. I'm mentioning this appointment to draw attention to the high regard in which Jeremy was held for all the work he has done for so many. He will certainly be missed. Finally, to everyone in the community who's gotten into the community or the Halloween spirit and decorated their yards for our enjoyment, thank you for that. Have fun and stay safe, everyone.
Thank you, Councillor Bellemare. Councillor Sticilo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For myself, regular council meeting on October 16th and the planning and priorities meeting on October 23rd. I did also attend the Manitoba Planning Conference, although not particularly with my council hat on, but there's a lot of information shared there that works well both in my professional career as well as my public career. This year's theme was recalibration, and it's just I was talking about Manitoba's communities are recalibrating in response to new and emerging realities, and was split into a number of streams, urban, rural, and northern. And there's just a lot of good information shared at the conference in regard to development plans, specifically for northern communities, and the role of a planner in response to addressing affordable housing and the crisis associated with that. I also took in a session about the municipal board and trying to demystify some of the roles that the municipal board plays as it relates to municipalities, and then just a session on natural infrastructure on the Canadian prairies, and some information on some age-friendly initiatives that are going on. All in all, this is a really good conference that's held annually, and I probably mentioned it before, but it might be something to look at for other councillors to attend going forward, and or administration. I know it's hard to always find time to attend these conferences, but this one is valuable, and there'd be some great information that could be utilized by the city of Dauphin. And that ends my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Sticilo. Deputy Mayor Laughlin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For myself, pretty quiet couple weeks, but nonetheless, October 16th, I attended the regular council meeting here at City Hall. The 23rd, a week later, planning and priorities here at City Hall as well. There was that special council meeting. I attended that online on October 26th. And then earlier today, we had an employee relations meeting here at City Hall. And that's pretty much it for myself. I do want to wish everyone happy Halloween coming up. Be safe, wear reflective gear when you're out, and drivers obviously be on the lookout as well. And that ends my report.
Councillor Sobering.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I attended the October 16th regular meeting as well as the October 23rd planning and priorities meeting. I also attended the October 26th special meeting online. On October 25th, I attended a Dauphin District Handy Van Association meeting, and it also has been a very quiet couple of weeks. I did want to give a shout out or a congratulations to Marco Spardelli. He's our master brewer over at Obsolete Brewing Company. This on October 25th, his first batch beers won 3 national awards, one being a gold medal, another 2 bronzes. And since opening 3 months ago, he's already accumulated 5 awards to his name, and I feel like it's pretty prestigious for him and his efforts. So I just want to make mention of that, and also, yeah, for everybody enjoying Halloween, stay safe, and yeah, by all means, get lots of candy.
Thank you, Councillor Sobring. Just want to share a couple of things that I've been involved in the last couple of weeks. I did attend a meeting with that was organized by the Assiniboine Community College with local stakeholders, and Mark Friesen, their president, and 2 of their deans were in the community. And we spent a pretty thoughtful afternoon having discussion about the college's role in our community and what their plans are, and how the different organizations and others in our community can work with them to support them on some of their initiatives. So I thought that was quite interesting, and I know that our city manager also attended, and we had an interesting little chat afterwards with Mark about a couple of things that I thought were kind of enlightening. And I think that the relationship that we're developing with the new director there, Carol Stewart, is all very, very positive. And so it's great having somebody with her energy there, willing to reach out and have discussions. So just wanted to note that meeting. Also, the meeting that I attended with Councillor Daly and our city manager in regards to the Prairie Mountain Health and their staffing and their various programs, I think was very enlightening. I think Councillor Daly would agree that it was interesting to get that perspective from them, and to get a sense that we're also working on the same page and have similar objectives, and will continue to have an open dialogue and a working relationship. I think that will benefit both the city and their organization over the next couple of years. And then I just want to indicate, I also attended a meeting last week that I thought was very timely. It was with our boulders, our Tourism Manitoba and our tourism strategy that was facilitated and by Martijn Van Leeuwen, our economic development manager. But all of the key players were there. So we had representations from the Dauphin Derailleur Cycle Club, which manages and looks after the Northgate Trail System, and the Ukrainian Festival had their president and a member of their executive. Country Fest, the president and their executive director was there, as was the president and PR representative from Solo, Ukraine. And we had a very honest, open discussion about the good things and the challenges that all of the organizations are currently dealing with, and the role that the city may need to take and or is willing to take in regards to continuing to facilitate that discussion. So it was quite it was a positive, very positive meeting. There's some challenges with all of the various organizations on continuing to do what they do, but I don't think there's anything that is of dire circumstance, other than the notion that all of the organizations that attended agreed that the city, it would be to their benefit for the city to continue to organize possibly quarterly meetings with all of these people or these organizations, because they tend to have discussions independently with Salah, but they don't collectively all get together. And so the sense of being on the same page and working towards the same objectives, with the city helping to guide and lead that discussion, was very well received. And so I have had discussions with Martijn since then, and I just thought that was a great start. And it looks like we're going to be working with these organizations very diligently to make sure that they succeed. Just of note, I'll just add that both organizations, Country Fest is having a major festival this upcoming year, 35 year anniversary, throwback to the 1990s. And I would encourage everyone in our community to support that event by either attending, by volunteering, by buying tickets, by speaking positively of it, because it's an event that if it's not in our community, it would have a huge impact on us. And the same thing that the Ukrainian Festival is gearing up for a 60th anniversary. I'm not certain if it's this year or next year, but they also are, again, continuing to work very, very hard on maintaining their festival. And just as a side note, I'm also a board member of the Dauphin Derailleurs Cycle Club, and just that organization has entered into some unique territory in that we are on the precipice of signing an agreement with both Prairie Supply Co. and Dauphin to manage all of the merchandise that the volunteers and the committee were trying to look after in the last little bit. So that was that contract has been signed, and we're working very closely with Trail Tutors, Alex Mann and Melissa Stefaniu's company, to act as trail hosts, and entering into a new operating agreement with them up at Northgate, so that the cycle club can become a cycle club again, or more so, and less managing a facility that has now matured and needs to take some different steps. And so we're very pleased to have that development going on. I will then call for the question then. All those in favor, please indicate. Anyone opposed? Thank you. And the last motion, moved by Deputy Mayor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Ray, be resolved that council meeting be